Hey, if you have those split circuit kitchen receptacles in your home, should you try to change them out to GFCI in an attempt to meet the current code rules? And is that even possible? But a better question is, should you even bother? Stay tuned till the end of this video where I'll give you my humble opinion. Is the correct answer lever A or just lever B? Hello, do-it-yourselfers. I'm Terry Peterman, the Internet Electrician, and I'm here to help you with your home electrical projects and repairs to help you do them right, do them safely, and save you money. So I get many questions asking, can you change kitchen split receptacles to GFCI receptacles in an attempt to meet the current code rules? So first things first, what are split circuit kitchen receptacles? Now I'm going to put a link in the description below to a video that I did that covers this topic completely. But I'm going to give you a brief description here of what these are. Basically, they're a 3-wire circuit fed by a 15 amp 2-pole breaker, same as a 240 volt breaker, and you run number 14 3 cable to a receptacle in your kitchen, and by splitting the tab, the two hots allow you to have the top half on its own 15 amp circuit, the bottom half on the other half of the circuit of that breaker, and you split the tab as I mentioned. The neutral is shared by both of these circuits and it carries only the unbalanced load. So for example, if you plug the toaster in the top drawing 8 amps and you put the coffee maker in the bottom one drawing 6 amps, that neutral is only going to take 2 amps back to the panel. It's complicated electrical theory, but that's how it works, and that allows you to share the circuits without overloading that neutral. Now furthermore, the code only allowed 2 receptacles on a circuit such as this, and they could be adjacent, so they had to alternate. So if you fed this receptacle with one circuit, you had to jump over the next one in your kitchen to feed the second one in the circuit. And then again, if you fed another circuit to the next one, you had to jump over that one to feed the other. So 4 outlets in your kitchen, you needed to have 2 circuits, 2 of these split circuits running to that kitchen. And any more than 4, then you would have to run another 15 amp 2-pole circuit to it, up to, of course, 6, and on you go, depending on how big your kitchen was. Now, personally, I kind of like these circuits. It allows you to have 2 fairly high current demand appliances sitting side by side in your kitchen, plugged into the same outlet, yet each of them on their own circuit. So here's 2 examples of questions I get regarding these circuits. The first one is, hello Terry, I changed out my kitchen outlets, and now when I turn on the breaker, it trips, and I can't make it reset. What did I do wrong, and why do I have an extra red wire in the box? So that one right away I know, did you split the tab? And I'm going to explain that to you when we get into it, but basically there's a little piece of copper between the hot terminals on a receptacle that can just be simply pried back and forth a few times and broken, and that makes those circuits, those 2 outlets of the duplex receptacle, operate independently. So let me just give you a close-up of a duplex receptacle and where that tab is that I talk about. Right here on the hot side is a tab right between the 2 terminals. And you just grab that with a needle nose plier. Right there is a good shot of it. Twist it back and forth a couple times and it breaks off, thus separating the top from the bottom. There's a tab on the neutral side as well, so you could actually run 2 circuits with their own neutral to this receptacle and break that tab as well. But generally, with what we're talking about here, you leave the tab on the neutral side and you split it on the hot side. Let me show you on the whiteboard then how this circuit works. All right, so here's a little drawing of how this works. There's your 15 amp 2-pole breaker. 1 red wire, which is purple here, 1 black wire on that breaker. Neutral coming off the neutral bar, going to the neutral side of that receptacle. And you see the purple wire going to the top half, and the black wire going to the bottom half. Notice the tab is split between there. And again, to reiterate then, the neutral only carries that unbalanced load. So say you got 8 amps on the top, 6 amps on the bottom. You're only going to have 2 amps on that neutral wire going back to the panel. Now let's just talk about why it's so important to not forget to split that tab when you change these receptacles out. I think you may have already figured it out, but if not, let me explain. Right now, you would have then 120 volt between this wire and the neutral. And you'd also have 120 volt between this wire and the neutral. But what do you have between here and there, being these are fed by a 240 volt circuit breaker, a 2-pole breaker? You have 240 volts. So if you forget to split that tab, dead short circuit, instantaneous tripping of the breaker. Now to talk about how we physically alternate these receptacles, you run one 3-wire circuit to this first receptacle, and then you have to do all your pigtailing. So you have to pigtail neutrals, blacks and reds and grounds, tagging off the box as required and the receptacle with your ground. So you have a 3-wire coming into this one, you got to jump the second one and feed the one on the other side of the sink. Then you would feed this one with the new circuit, you would go over and jump to the far side of the sink to another receptacle. So no 2 adjacent ones on the same 2-wire circuit. So herein lies the problem. If you're going to upgrade to the new code to get GFIs within a meter or whatever figure they're working with these days of the sink, they want GFCIs here. But as you can see now, you have 2 different circuits feeding these two. And so you're going to have to change basically all these to GFCI to make this work. Hey, I want to take a minute to thank the sponsor of this video, Brunt Workwear. The founder and CEO set out to build a company that makes high quality, comfortable work boots and clothing, and Eric, you hit it out of the park. Check out the website and see their full product line of boots, work apparel, and accessories. I've teamed up with Brunt and I'm proud to put my brand alongside theirs as a new official attire of the Internet Electrician. I can assure you that you won't be disappointed in the quality, comfort, and fit of everything they sell. And the best part is that by buying directly with no middleman, you're going to save money. You can try out any of the items and you have their guarantee that if you're not completely satisfied with any of their products, simply return them for a full refund. Check out the website today, and when you place your order, use the promo code INTERNETELECTRICIAN and you'll get $10 off your first order. I'm confident you'll be as impressed with the products as I am. Brunt, they built workwear for workers with workers. Now back to the video. And here's the second scenario. Hey Terry, I'm changing out my kitchen receptacles to GFCI, but I don't know how to hook up the new receptacle. And I have 2 hot wires in here, an extra red, and I only really need a black and a white. What do I do? So that brings us to the question is, can you change these to GFCI? And the short answer is yes. If you do it correctly, it can be done. So we're going to go over to the demo board and I'll show you how this can be done and what changes you have to make to the wiring to make that happen. So this of course is the option of lever A, and that is to change things out. So moving over to the board here, I'm going to show you how you'd have to do that. So here we are at my demo board, and you'll see we've got that 15 amp 2-pole breaker here with it being off right now because we've got the boxes opened up. So safety first as always. So we'll get a close-up of this, but here you've got the pigtailing demonstrating that if you brought one circuit into this box, you would jump over the adjacent receptacle if there was one here and feed the other 3-wire to the second outlet and do all your pigtailing in the first one. So zoom in for a close-up here. So when you pulled apart this receptacle, you would have found the ground wire to be hooked to the green terminal here. You would have found this pigtail jumper going to the silver terminals of the receptacle for your neutral with the tab unbroken. And then you would have the red wire going to the top half, the black wire going to the bottom half, and again that tab would have been split. In the second receptacle of this circuit, much simpler with no pigtailing required. Again, you've got your ground and your neutral to go on this side, and your red and your black would have gone to the other side of the receptacle. So how do we change this to a GFCI if we're bent on getting that GFCI protection? So to connect this GFCI receptacle now, you would leave your neutral alone, keep the pigtail, tie that neutral on to the neutral side of the line side of your GFCI receptacle, ground to ground of course. You would pick one or the other of these hot wires and put it to the line side on the hot terminal. So for example, we'll take the red on this receptacle, hook it to the line side. We would take this pigtail out of the black splice and then put the moret back onto the 2 wires, one coming in, one going out, to carry on to the next receptacle. One thing to note with using GFCI receptacles, and they have that feed-through technology where you can feed other outlets on the load side of the terminals, the load side terminals, and you can protect up to 5 other outlets without using another GFCI. That is not achievable in the 3-wire circuit due to that shared neutral. So you cannot make that happen. But what you can do then is use this black wire over in the second outlet, and again hook your neutral on the line side of a second GFCI receptacle. Hook your ground on the ground, of course, and then use the black wire on the line side, hot side, which is here. And then you would cap off the red wire in that second box. The other option, if you're really bent on getting your ground fault circuit protection around your kitchen, the other option is to leave everything as it is and change that 15 amp 2-pole breaker to a 15 amp 2-pole GFCI breaker. So now we're talking about a little bit of dollar value here. GFCI receptacles themselves cost around $20 or $30, but a GFCI breaker, 15 amp 2-pole, as opposed to say $30 for a regular breaker, you're probably looking at close to $150 for a GFCI breaker. And so if you're wanting to achieve that GFCI protection on either side of your sink, chances are you're going to have to buy 2 of these because those are likely to be on 2 separate circuits. So there I've showed you how to do the lever A options of either changing the breaker or changing the receptacles themselves to GFCIs. Now you ask yourself, have I achieved code compliance now? Do I meet the modern day code? Well, actually the answer is no, because the new code requires those receptacles to be 20 amp. And these are 15 amp receptacles with 14 gauge wires. So to actually achieve current code compliance, you'd have to basically rewire your kitchen. And of course, you know that's going to be a big messy job. If you've got no access to fishing into the walls, you're going to have to be tearing drywall apart, some backsplash likely, some tiling. So boy, you got to ask yourself, is it really worth it? So I always start with a client like this asking them, why do you want to change them out? I personally like the 3-wire split kitchen circuit receptacles, as I've mentioned before, and the reasons for that. And it's also important to know that the code is always and forever changing. As new technologies come along, they always lobby the code directors to get their new devices implemented into the code, and it's usually for safety reasons, and that's a good thing. However, ask yourself, have you ever, or do you know anybody that's ever been holding on to the toaster and sticking their fingers in there and then grabbing onto the faucet and getting a shock? Or have you ever heard of anybody dropping their toaster into a sink full of water and somehow getting electrocuted? I personally haven't. Maybe you have, and I don't want to take anything away from that risk. Now, having said that, with every new code change that comes along, you must remember that the old rules are grandfathered into the code of the day. So you're not required to change those kitchen receptacles unless you're doing an entire renovation that involves rewiring and getting an electrical permit. Well, now you do have to do the permit and meet the current code and have it inspected. But if you're just changing the receptacles out to maybe upgrade them from the standard duplex to the decorator or decora style, I'm not so sure that it's worth it to try to make these changes. So I hope I've answered all your questions on this topic, and if not, leave me a comment or a suggestion in the comment boxes below, and I'll answer your questions the best I can. If you found this information helpful, I hope you give it that thumbs up and that you subscribe to my channel, and don't forget to click that bell so you'll know when I release a new video. Till the next time, Terry Peterman, the Internet Electrician.